Spring, that's a team that is firing on all cylinders at the perfect time of year. The Avalanche show up again on home ice, dominate to the tune of a 4-0 victory against a very good, very dangerous Los Angeles Kings team. I know they are Jekyll and Hyde from road to home, the best home team in the National Hockey League. They are sub 500 on the road. But LA is a scary hockey team come playoff time. And the Avs, because of how well they're clicking right now, the power play is unstoppable. Mackenzie Blackwood looks great. They made the LA Kings look pedestrian.
The one word is wow. I mean, wow. You ever watch those pitch meetings with Ryan George, and he says, "Wow, wow, wow, wow." I mean, that was me watching this game tonight. Just wow, 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 wow. That was complete start to finish. It was clean. It was crisp. It was fast. I, I disagree a little bit with the Kings as a legitimate threat.
I think they're dangerous. They're not one of my 5 teams that can win a cup, but I do think they are dangerous.
If we're probably going to see Oilers Kings again. Speaking of movies, we don't need to see sequels or trilogies of. Oh my gosh, I don't need to see Oilers Kings again. Yeah, Kings have a great home record, like 26, 3-4. I don't have it up in front of me. I likened it on the Blitz tonight to that early 2010s Nuggets team that had like an insane home record, the Iguodala, Gallinari, Ty Lawson Nuggets. But you knew what they were.
Yeah,
But
LA's 26-3-4 at home. They're now 14-20-5 on the road, Spring.
yeah, yeah. But look, they're a good team. They're a good team, and the Avs just worked them. I mean, there's so much that you could talk about in this game. Marty Necas, 2 goals. Mikko Rantanen did score for the Stars tonight. So Mikko now has, I think he just scored. I'm going to assume he just scored once tonight. Necas scored twice. So Mikko has 30 goals on the season. Necas has 26. Necas has more points this season than Mikko Rantanen. Let's see. Did Necas have any assists?
Rantanen went 1-1 tonight for 2 points.
1-1 for 2 points. Okay, so Mikko has 78 points. Necas with his 2 goals, and he did have the secondary assist on the final goal, Jonathan Drouin's power play goal. So 3 points for Necas. So he has 80 points. 80 points for Necas this season. 78 for Mikko Rantanen. Look, Marty Necas was great tonight. Jonathan Drouin's the final goal. First period, they're on the power play. Drouin overpasses. He has a wide open net on the right side. Shoot that puck. Like you're supposed to be you're not Rantanen, but you're supposed to play the Rantanen role, left-handed shot on the right side. He tries to feed Necas in the slot. Riddick was beat. Drouin had the open goal. Drouin ends up getting that one-timer on the right-hand side in the third period. Man, just start to finish. It was elite. That's an A+. That's an A+ performance from the Avalanche tonight.
It really was. And I've been saying for the better part of the last 2 weeks that, like, for me, the results don't really matter for the Avalanche. Because again, you're not catching Dallas and Minnesota is not catching you. Dallas, again, they won tonight with Casey DeSmith in net against a good Flames team that is desperate for points. Like Dallas, you're not making up those points. Sorry, guys, you're going to Dallas round 1. Like, just get used to it. It's guaranteed at this point.
It's a shame because the Stars have a relatively easy schedule. It's a shame.
Yeah, you're not making up the points this late in the season, and it's okay. It's fine. I don't think home ice advantage will make or break the Avalanche in this series. I think they're playing that well. I had been saying that I don't care about the results. I just care about how they're playing. Tonight, I wanted a result for some reason. I don't know what the feeling was that hit me today. I think it's because I do respect LA and how good they are and how, honestly, not great of a matchup they are for the Avalanche. And then I watched tonight's hockey game. Like I spent a whole segment on that on the morning sprint with myself and Coach Sanford today, spring, where I went off and I went, they're not a good matchup for the Avs. And I went in with their speed, their forecheck, their relentlessness in terms of hitting everything that moves. And you know what I realized tonight? I was talking about the pre-trade deadline Avalanche. They are a bad matchup for the pre-Charlie Coyle, pre-Brock Nelson, pre-beefy Avalanche. They're a problem, a matchup problem for a team that doesn't exist anymore. And I realized that two periods in today, I went, that's not an issue anymore.
I think this is a funny thought that I had in the third period when the Avs go on a power play because Nathan McKinnon draws a trip because he's shifty as all hell. And the Avs, they're up 3-0. Like they're playing so well. This game is over as long as they continue to play like that. And they did. And there was no universe they were going to lose that game. Jared Bednar starts with power play 2 instead of power play 1. And you know what I'm thinking with PP2 out there is, dude, the Avs second power play unit would be better than a handful of teams' top power play units. Look, Arturi Lehkonen has been a power play 1 guy for the Avs for years, but because of personnel and just fit reasons, he's no longer on the top power play unit. So you had Lehkonen out there, you have Brock Nelson out there, Charlie Coyle, Ross Colton, Devon Taves at the point. Look, it's not a world beater unit, but it's better than a handful of teams in the league. That's how deep you are, that your second power play unit would actually be better than a lot of teams' first power play units. Yeah, the depth is insane right now. Ryan Lindgren's been great. Sam Malinsky's been great. That was by and large their second D pair tonight was Lindgren and Malinsky. Now Gerard got mixed in with a handful of people. Gerard primarily played with Keaton Middleton, and they had their moments too. They were on the ice for that first Marty Necas goal. But man, Ryan Lindgren and Sam Alinsky stepping up. The depth is unreal right now. Jack Drury keeping a puck in the zone on the Logan O'Connor goal, and O'Connor's makes the back check that Drury keeps in. Then Cale Makar, you see him walk the line, but here he protects a puck with his backhand and goes across the blue line and then down low. Parker Kelly is screening in front as well. I mean, it's top to bottom right now. And Josh Manson and Eric Johnson aren't playing. There's a little lack of right-handed shots. There's one right-handed shot missing on the decor right now. That's kind of causing Sam Girard to float a little bit, but it's all good. Like Keaton Middleton actually played pretty well tonight. Yeah, it's top to bottom. The depth, yeah, where this team was, Cassie Campbell Pascal on Color talked about, she called one of those early season Avs games. You've talked about it, Raj, the lineup, how it looked earlier in the season. She talked about the centers. It was McKinnon, Middlestat, Kelly on your third line center, and Steinberg. I can't even remember Steinberg's first name. Not going to lie.
Matthew.
Matt Steinberg. The depth now, it is. Oof, I almost want, you know what? I'm fine with them being the road team because I want them to be overlooked a little bit. I want them to have that underdog mentality to them. And I think being the road team in the Dallas series will help with that, actually.
Yeah. You know what I would love about that matchup is Dallas has had a great season. They're a very, very good hockey team. And when I talk about dangerous hockey teams, yeah, I think LA's dangerous. Do I think they're one of my 5 teams in the West that can win a cup? And also, there's a little asterisk in there. The Edmonton Oilers are removed from that conversation so long as Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl are not playing hockey. Also, losing Skinner after colliding with Mikko Rantanen's knee the other night hurts them big time. So I'll add him into that asterisk category. Edmonton's one of my 5 teams in the West that can legitimately win a cup. If those guys are gone, it turns into 4. The Dallas Stars are one of those teams. I want this to happen because Dallas has had a really solid non-roller coastery season. They've just continued to be who they are the whole year long. And I want that fan base and I want that team to go into the postseason and go, this is our fucking prize for being a 105-point season. We have to play those guys at home. That's what we get after being one of the most consistent teams in the entire NHL. We have to play that team. That's what I'm waiting for. Not necessarily for the Avs. And I do like the thought process of like a little bit of a chip on the shoulder, or people aren't talking about us as much as they did a couple of years ago. When the Avs went and won a cup in 2022. I want the other side of the coin where teams are going, God damn it, they're good again.
So the Avs have won 11 straight at home now. Kings have the great home record overall this season, but and that's the longest home win streak in the NHL this season. The Avs have an 11 game home win streak, and part of that 11 game home win streak was the Dallas game, the Sunday game. This was just 3 home games ago. This was just 11 days ago. And yeah, and I look, it's 11 straight home wins. It's been this Avs team really since the deadline. Since the new pieces, since the Voltron was completed. But even that Dallas game, just 3 home games ago, what we saw tonight, that's not how the Avs played even in that Dallas game. And that game goes to overtime, and Colorado wins. And they played well that day. But if Colorado plays like this tonight, Dallas hasn't even seen this.
Yeah,
This
that's
was
true.
a this was a this was the best they have looked since the Rantanen trade, since the deadline. Here we are, March 27th. Deadline was March 6th, so that's 21 days, 3 weeks since the deadline. It took 3 weeks for the chemistry to truly click. And in that 3 weeks, we saw line changes, and I love the new lines. I think that, it takes time. It takes the chemistry a little bit to gel. And this was the culmination of it. This was the masterpiece tonight. And honestly, the rest of the NHL should be shaking in their freaking boots.
Yeah, and I think the line change has helped unlock Marty Necas. He looked good against, not against, but alongside Nathan MacKinnon. And most guys look good alongside him. We've obviously seen the dip in Rantanen's numbers ever since he left McKinnon's side. Nate just looked good next to him, but I don't think he had the puck on his stick nearly enough to showcase his offensive upside. And now you're seeing that, right? When you put him next to Brock Nelson and you put him with a couple of guys who are willing to go puck hunt, he now becomes option number one. Anytime that you're on a line with Nathan MacKinnon, you are not option number one. And there's also a mental aspect to it. And we've seen a lot of players do this in the past. And honestly, Nate just did it in his first couple of games with the Avs, which is like, even if you're an elite player, which Martin Necas is, if the puck's on your stick and Nathan MacKinnon's on the ice and the puck's not on his stick, something in your brain is going, something's wrong, right? There's an alarm bell going off in the back of your brain, no matter how good you are. If 29 is on the ice and he doesn't have the puck, you're going, what have I missed? Like, why haven't I gotten him the puck yet? And I think moving him away from Nate really helps his 5-on-5 game. He is more noticeable. He is lightning quick. And I haven't gotten used to that yet. Somehow that I have, and anytime he's on, I just go, who the hell was that? And it's Marty Necas. I think they look great at home right now. Sure, is that the one thing that pisses me off about them not getting home ice advantage? And they won't get home ice advantage for the first 2 rounds, assuming Winnipeg stays hot and wins their first round matchup. Did you get this stat? I don't know if they pulled this out in the broadcast. This is from the NHL stats guys at media.nhl.com. In the past 100 games that Nathan MacKinnon has played at Ball Arena, he has been held off the score sheet in just 8 of those 100 games. He is averaging nearly 2 points per game in those contests. He has 186 points in his last 100 games at Ball Arena.
Well, he's a damn good hockey player. Look, the LA Kings don't have a Nathan MacKinnon. They don't have a Cale Makar. Most teams don't. And I think Val Nichushkin's the perfect lineman. I think you're spot on it, but Necas is better with the puck on his stick. Val doesn't necessarily need that. He's a net front. He's a position guy. He's not a puck mover per se. And Drouin has the great chemistry with Nathan MacKinnon. Look, Lehkonen, Necas, Nelson. That's an awesome line on
It's a
paper.
great line.
Are you kidding me? What a second line that is. So yeah, it's just all setting up right now. The first Marty Necas goal, the and that's intention. That's intentional from Sam Girard. The shot off the
100%.
boards.
I
Yeah,
I don't think when he started the shot spring, I don't think he's intending to shoot it wide. But I can't remember the Kings player. Sorry, this is the second Nature's goal. No, the first one.
the first Necas goal. Yeah,
I'm just looking at the visualizer quickly to see who the player is that goes out to front that shot for the LA Kings. It ends up being Trevor Moore. So when he originally starts to take the shot, I don't think his idea is I'm putting this off the back of the net. But Trevor Moore gets in, he's in the shooting lane. And if he tries to put it on net, it hits shin pads, it goes out of the zone.
and the hands from Necas. I mean, the quick gather and backhand finish. Those are elite hands to go along with his speed. Look, I'll take Marty Necas at $9 million. I'll save those $3 million for Mikko Rantanen all day long, and it gets you Drury, and it gets you the ability to trade for Brock Nelson as well. It's savvy across the board. The Necas power play goal, and we have seen that this guy has a bomb of a slap shot on the right hand side. Shout out to Cale Makar keeping a puck in the zone on this play, on this sequence as well. And Nathan MacKinnon is low left side, but he realizes that Marty's occupying the left wing. So now MacKinnon goes net front. How often do you see Nathan MacKinnon go net front on a power play? But that's what Necas unlocks, because we talked about this ad nauseum. Necas can rove, which allows MacKinnon to rove. I saw points on the power play tonight where Nichushkin is occupying the high right point. Necas can play the high left point, but it's MacKinnon and it's Nichushkin or Drouin who's right next to MacKinnon too, net front. MacKinnon jumps, he's in David Riddick's way, he's screening, and he's also trying to avoid the Necas bomb. So he's got the speed, he's got the hands that he showed on his first goal, and he's got a bomb. And we've seen that all year. Man, he is a versatile player, that Marty Necas.
He certainly is. And this depth has allowed you to not have to run your top guys into the ground. Look at the numbers on the back end in terms of time on ice this evening. And I know you had a 4-0 lead in the third period, and that allows you to play some of your third and fourth liners a little bit more, but it wasn't egregious prior to that. Malinsky plays 15 minutes. Middleton plays 14-18. Like there was a point in time where this team was scared to play a player like that for 3 minutes and 30 seconds. And Middleton has done a very good job of keeping up with pace. It was funny. I was talking to a coach friend of mine who said like it looks as though Keaton Middleton's agent has called him before every single game and just tells him, "Hey man, you got to scan the ice at all times," because that dude's head is on the biggest swivel of anyone in the league. Like he is always looking around trying to make sure, do I have my assignment? Is my net front covered? Am I making sure I'm throwing pucks to the right areas? And sometimes things go awry and he gives up a pizza in the defensive zone, but he's been really good. And to have that guy as a 6, 7, 8 defenseman on this team is it's a welcome thing to this lineup. Your fourth line, being able to trust that fourth line, whether it's Parker Kelly or it's Jack Drury or it's Miles Wood. It's really, really nice to see those ones. I still think Miles Wood's going to be the odd guy out in the playoffs. If everyone's healthy, I think Woody's the scratch.
He was the weakest player on the ice tonight. Not that he had a bad game. He was just, and he comes back into the lineup. I forget what was Kiviranta's deal tonight. Is he hurt? Is he sick? Or was this just let me look and see if I can see this real quick. Lower body injury, I think, for Yoel Kiviranta. But you know, they really like Jared Bednar really likes that fourth line right now of Drury centering O'Connor and Kelly. So rather than moving one of those three up to third line wing, he just said, "Screw it, I'll reinsert Miles Wood back into the lineup." And you know, Wood would be a fourth liner, but just you know because Kiviranta was on the third line, okay, you're playing third line. Was the role for Miles Wood tonight, and it was okay. I thought Coyle and Colton were better on that line tonight than Miles Wood. But look, Miles Wood's still a good depth piece to have. He has shown well in his Avalanche career. I still believe that back is hampering him because he is so much better than he has played this season. And you never know. You never know. If someone goes out, Miles Wood's a veteran. Miles Wood has scored clutch goals for the Avs. He could come in and he could be a very sneaky addition if someone needs to get scratched for injury or otherwise.
Yeah, I find myself agreeing with that too. It was just a solid effort against a really solid team. They stay red hot. Makar's got 500 assists now. He's the third fastest player in, or rather blue liner in National Hockey League history to get to 500, or sorry, 500 career points rather. Third fastest in history amongst blue liners, behind Bobby Orr and Paul Coffey. He did it in 460 games. Coffee did it in 440, or did it in 406, and those guys were playing against it. Not Coffee so much, but like playing against goalies that stood up like the entire time. I'm not trying to take away anything from those guys, but Cale Makar is playing against real netminders that actually go down and cover the net and are 6'4" and bigger. Um, he's a freak, man. He's
I,
gonna
I,
run away with the Norris.
I want to talk about Makar and Taves. They had excellent games tonight.
Taves saved a
Uh,
goal early on, changed the game.
Taves saved a goal. Let's start with Makar since we're on him. He had let's see, he had a couple defensive plays. One was on the first Avs penalty kill of the game. He reads a pass and he explodes to try to intercept that thing, and he just barely can't gather it. He knocks the puck out of the zone. He makes the defensive play, but he nearly intercepted that thing and gathered it in stride, and he would have been gone. He would have been gone for a shorthanded opportunity, but still a very explosive defensive play on the penalty kill from Cale Makar. He also blocks a shot in the first period off of it looked to be his right elbow. And he was in some discomfort. But lo and behold, then he goes and that right elbow helps him, fend off whoever he's manned up on when he's walking that blue line backhand and he sets up the O'Connor goal. So, it's a true defenseman right there. It really is. So Cale had a good moments defensively once again tonight. I'll keep trying to point out as many strong defensive Cale Makar moments as I possibly can because I'm tired of the narrative that he is an offensive player. He is an excellent two-way player. So Devon Toews has two excellent sticks in the first period, two great checks with his stick to break up plays. And then it was in the second period when Cale Makar, he's trying to forecheck and keep a puck in the zone, breaks his stick. Puck goes down the other way. Cale's going to get a new stick. Devon Toews, now they're a man down. They're on like a mini penalty kill for like 10-ish seconds. Toews goes with it's a real nice backhanded clearance, but unfortunately, it finds a Kings player who keeps it in the zone. Cale is late to come back because he just got a new stick. And this leads to the Kings being able to find Quinton Byfield in the slot and an excellent sprawling split save. I don't know if he makes the save, but Blackwood certainly disrupts Quinton Byfield. Puck goes in the crease, though, and Devon Toews is there, and he makes the save that you were alluding to. So, look, it's the best two-way defensive pairing in the league, and it's not even close.
No, it isn't close. I think Taves' ability to go unnoticed is one of the more remarkable things that the Avalanche have. that I can go an entire game. And tonight, that wasn't the case. You pointed out the couple of plays that he makes that are game changing early, but there's so many games where I don't understand why I don't notice him on the ice. And it's because he just keeps pucks away from dangerous areas constantly, and the puck is on his stick so few times in dangerous areas. It hits him. He is a one man breakout. He doesn't even need Kale McCarr to be that one man breakout, which is awesome. They're the best pairing in the league. They are, and they will be the best pairing in the league for the next 5 years, is my guess.
And Mackenzie Blackwood, look, he had that split. I'll call it disruption. I'm not sure he made an actual save there. Look, Malinsky and Lindgren played a lot together tonight. Um, was it Lindgren with Malinsky in this moment? It might have been Taves. Either way, Malinsky could have been Gerard. Either way, Malinsky throws a pizza.
It was with
He
Gerard.
It was
Gerard.
with Gerard.
They were in the middle of a shift. Gerard was the first player in the corner. He gets bodied up by Fogel, I think. Question
Sure.
mark. And
Yeah.
then Malinsky throws the pizza on the short side.
Yeah, and it's not the look, it's a little dangerous. It's a little too center ice for Sam to kind of just blindly throw that. We saw Marty Necas with an egregious one of those not too long ago, and Sam's been so good of late. Had another very good game tonight, but he's still a more inexperienced player. Kind of it's an overly aggressive, unnecessary play to you have this sense of urgency. We're playing so well. Let's create rushes the other way as fast as we can. And I think that's what's going through Malinsky's mind as he kind of centered. It's too centered, this pass behind Malinsky that he makes, and the Kings pick it up. It's Jake. It's Malott for the LA Kings. It's Jeff Malott.
He's only playing
Left-hand,
like his third or his fourth game.
who is the recipient of this pizza, and Blackwood makes a great blocker save. Mackenzie Blackwood, in his moments, he makes all 23 saves against him tonight. He earns another shutout. He was excellent tonight, Mackenzie Blackwood.
Yeah, he was. Sorry, Spring. The reason why I was looking off to the side for that long is when you made the comment about Kale being a complete player. I was looking at his defensive net rating, or rather his net rating and then his defensive rating. He has far and away the best net rating, which is taking into account chances created and chances given up on both sides of the ice when you're out there. It also has a bunch of different factors that go into it. It is a catch-all statistic that's used to tell you like who this guy is on the ice. And Makar his offensive rating is at 17. The next best in the league is Zach Werenski at 14.6. His defensive rating is plus 5.4. What do you think Victor Hedman's defensive rating is?
One more time on Kale's.
Kale's is 5.4 right now. Would you agree that Victor Hedman's probably looked at as like one of, if not the best defensive defenseman in the league?
I mean, yeah, certainly like 3-ish years ago. And he's still very good.
Still very good. His defensive rating is 1.8 this year.
Wow.
Another guy,
Wow.
Another guy, Thomas Harley, who is looked at as a very good young two-way defenseman, but more so defensive. What is his defensive rating? Way more defensive than offensive minded.
Sure. 3.6.
Even higher, 5.1. Still not Cale
Oh,
McCarr's
wow.
defensive rating.
Okay.
Josh Morrissey, who is a good two-way defenseman, but also put up a huge offensive output a couple of seasons ago. Josh Morrissey's defensive rating is the only one in the top 10 in terms of guys who are vying for the Norris Trophy that beats Cale's. He is at a plus 6.2. And the other thing that I was digging out, I mentioned this very vaguely yesterday when I went into Cale Makar. He is in the 98th percentile in the league in terms of minutes against and expected goals for coming off the bench on the other side. So he goes up against 98% better competition than the rest of the league. Like it is insane how often he is out there against the opposition's very best players. He's in the 98th percentile of that. A guy like Quinn Hughes, who walked away with the Norris Trophy last year, he's in the 63rd percentile this season.
No, Kale does not get enough credit for his defense. Honestly, that rating checks out. It checks out. If you watch Kale McCarr night in and night out, you will see that is an appropriate defensive rating. And obviously, those numbers are, the formulas, the equations.
It's the nose picker stats. So I
But
don't know. People are asking me to do it
it's
the other
based
day.
off of metrics that plays. It's based off of play. You have to make the plays in order to earn the metric,
Yeah.
and Gail McCarr makes those plays, and it's a
I think
late.
the other reason why people look at Kale and they're like, oh, he's just an offensive defenseman. It's because anytime that you're watching him play hockey, the Avs are in the offensive zone. And there's a
Sure.
reason why the Avs are in the offensive zone. It's because Kale McCarr put them in the offensive zone.
Yeah, well, there's that, and it's
It's like
because, and look, this was a nationally televised game tonight, so therefore, in theory, more NHL fans who don't watch Cale Makar that often or haven't watched him in some time, maybe you're watching him in the playoffs, and he's a different defensive player even this year than he has been in years past.
yes.
He's evolved even more so. So you just haven't seen him as much. Now, even though this is a national television game, there's still a lot of hockey fans who did not watch tonight, and all they'll see is highlights. And what are the highlights you see? Offensive highlights. So you have to watch him night in, night out to truly understand what he does defensively.
Yeah, he's a sensational hockey player, man. And I'm trying to make sure that I look at Nathan McKinnon and Cale Makar in the same vein that I've forced myself to look at Nikola Jokic with the Denver Nuggets. And that is I'm trying my very best not to take any games for granted. And I've fallen into that lull too often. And I'm kind of forcing myself to be like, all right, go watch greatness. And what he did, like he toyed with Edmondson on the blue line today before setting up the O'Connor goal. That was not keeping the puck in. He had a guy right on his hip and his feet were outside the blue line. Like it was insane what he was doing with the puck there. It's just it's a hell of a player, man. It really is. And he should win 6 Norris trophies by the end of his career. I saw a question here. Bandits asking who is closest to Nate on points for the Hart. I think you mean for the Art Ross. If we're looking at points lead, the next guy in the league right now is Nikita Kucherov. With 105 points, Tampa absolutely hammered Utah 8-0. Kucherov, I think, had a 3 or a 4 point night. So McKinnon jumps up to 108. Kucherov sits at 105. So the Art Ross is not completely locked up. McKinnon continues to make ground in the race for the MVP. The next guy for scoring for defenseman for Cale Makar, because Makar currently sits ninth overall league wide, tied with Jesper Bratt at 84 points. The next best defenseman in the league is Zach Werenski down at 69 points. So he will not be caught in terms of point production from a D-man this year.
I just want to say about Nate too. There was a stretch during this game. So Nathan McKinnon in the faceoff circle tonight, 10 out of 19, 110, lost 9, 52.6%. And there was a stretch where Nate won like 4 straight draws, and I'm just thinking like, damn, dude. Like, yeah, and we talked about it, but he really has gotten better. I don't know if this is updated on Hockey Reference, but so either coming into tonight or after tonight. Again, not sure if this is updated, but 49.5% on the season. It's his highest mark since his age 21 season when he was 50.5%. Then the following season, Nate dropped all the way to 41.9%. And it's been a little bit of a slog for him ever since. And he's having a great year in the faceoff circle. I'm telling you, man, and watching him win those draws tonight, the 4 straight, and it's looking easier for him. That is gonna come in so clutch. There is gonna be a faceoff that McKinnon wins in the playoffs that will directly lead to a goal. And it's part of the reason why they don't have to go. They tried Brock Nelson on power play 1. It's not quite a fit. The only real benefit there would be to get to win the draw and get that quick offensive zone possession. But Nate right now, he's gonna win a draw in the playoffs. It's gonna be huge. I'm calling it right now.
Uh, I don't think those are updated as of right now. He's creeping towards 50. He might
Mhm.
get there by the time those stats update tomorrow morning with those 10 wins on 19 draws. He is right there.
It's just another element to his game. And I wonder if that was something because what else is there to work on when you're coming off of the Hart Trophy, you're in your prime. It's his white whale. It's the one thing, that if that's even what that means, I'm not even
Right.
sure.
That
But
it is such a good point. Like, what do you work on when you come off of 140 points? How do you get better?
there's
And he's
really
not
no
he's not going to put up 140 points, but like I can make the argument that I go he's just as good, if not better, right now. He's not going to put up 140. He's going to put up far less than that. But I can look at Nate this year and go, I think you're way more complete than you even were last season.
but that's what he does, man. It's chickpea salad, it's dedication to the sport and the craft and always working, always getting better. So just another little added element to Nathan McKinnon's game. Yeah, man, that was just fun to watch. Hey, I saw you on Twitter put it out there. Let's visit it. Let's talk about it again.
We
Who
can
would
do that.
win? I mean, because tonight was the night that, man, I'm gonna be honest. I still don't think that this team beats the 22 team. But if there was ever a game that you could look at and say, maybe so, it would be tonight. This team tonight looked 2022 ish.
Yeah, I posed the question. I did not give my thought process. I think it would be a really good series. And the reason why I think it would be a good series is because Mackenzie Blackwood is your goaltender. And Darcy Kemper had a very good season that year. He had a very good cup final. Pavel Francouz walked in and won 6 hockey games and 6 starts in the postseason. So it's not like the goaltending was terrible. Statistically, you guys have heard me though. It's the statistically worst goaltending room since like Grant Fuhr won his last cup in the late 80s. So you can look at it from that standpoint. The goaltending's better on this team. Uh, you can make the argument that the center depth is better on this team, although Nazem Kadri putting up an 87-point season, you don't have a second line center that's doing that right now.
I love Brock Nelson, but I don't think he's Nas.
He's not Nas, but would you take Charlie Coyle as your third line center?
Over JT Comfer, is that who they were rocking with?
JT
Yeah,
Comfort.
I mean, oh boy, JT, gosh, he really has not done much with the Detroit Red Wings. I know that he
He was
scored,
so effective here.
but yeah, he was sneaky effective, especially in the last year or two. And it's
Comfer as your third line center in 70 games put up 33 points that year.
oh boy, look, and Landeskog, I think, and I said it a few shows ago, and I think it was 11 goals in that playoff run, and when we forget to Landeskog in that playoff run when he scores 11 goals and they go 16-4. His knee's probably killing him the entire
Yeah,
time.
his knee is disintegrating. He played
Yet,
20 games. He had 11 goals, 11 assists, 22 points.
yet he was elite.
And it's like he didn't even realize that he was out there because Kale was putting up 30 and Miko had 25 points and McKinnon had 13 tucks.
So, Landeskog as a wing, I mean, Landeskog would be better. That Landeskog would be better than any wing that the Avs have right now. And I love Valeri Nichushkin. Keep in mind, Valeri Nichushkin was on that team,
Yes,
and
but this Val Nichushkin's better.
this Val Nichushkin is better, but that Val was still unheralded, and a damn good player. I remember, seeing like Val was hot, like in that playoff run. Like I'd see on my betting app props because Nichushkin just kept producing, and it was like, will Nichushkin keep it up? Like he was great.
The way that I can make this argument is this team, this 2025 team, as compared to the 2022 team, and that team at 16-4 is a generational team. That might be like going a step too far, but it was a damn good team. You have a better version of Cale Makar now.
You have a better version of Kale. You do.
You have a better version of Nathan McKinnon now. You have a better version of Val Nichushkin now. You have a better version of Devon Taves now. You have a better version of Logan O'Connor now.
Mm-hmm.
So when I look at that team and I go, oh yeah, well, what about the 60 points that Andre Burakovsky scored? I saw Evan Rowell was commenting on that post there, and he goes, well, you had Berkey throwing 61 points on your third line. I was like, I understand that, and then you can throw out Nazem Kadri having his 87-point season. I can understand that, but all
Mhm.
of the players that are still on the team. It's not like they were 34 years old at that time and have fallen off a cliff. All of the players have gotten better.
Yeah, now they're all, like, in their primes. Like, Nate was, now he's, like, in his mega prime. Um,
Show me the Joel Kiviranta on that team with 16 goals.
yeah, no, he's been, now
Obey
but, like
Kubel had 11.
no, I mean, Burakovsky, that snipe on that third line, like, Kivy and look, Ross Colton to start the season was kinda playing like that, and I Ross is due
He is
for
Scooby Doo.
another heater. He's a good player. I will always believe in Ross Colton. I mean, yeah, and then so back to the goaltending again. Okay, Kemper. Yeah, I didn't realize. I honestly did not realize that his numbers in that Cup run were as good, or in that Cup final, whichever,
Cup
were
final were amazing.
Cup final were as good as they were. And Darcy Kemper, it's third in the NHL this season in save percentage. I don't think Darcy Kemper would have made a lick of difference for the Kings tonight. They didn't score a goal.
I mean, Kemper in the regular season that year, 921 save percentage, 254 goals against average, and 37 wins.
It's a great save
That's
percentage.
a
That would
really good season.
that's better than the save percentage he has this season, which has him third in the NHL. Um, and now, but look, Kemper's helped a lot by an awesome team in front of him, and so is Blackwood right now. But and I tell you what, and I thought after the shootout loss in Toronto, where Blackwood looked like shit in that shootout, I think the next couple ish games I felt like McKenzie, and he was great. It was since he came to the Avs up until that Maple Leaf shootout. Mackenzie Blackwood has looked elite, elite. And then from the Leaf shootout disaster, which who really cares? It's shootout, and it's one regular season game. Leafs lost to the Sharks tonight, by the way. Shout out Alexander Georgiev, who beat the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight. Um, Next couple games, I thought maybe it was in Blackwood's head a little bit, but now the past two or three since that, and tonight for sure. Oh, he's over it. He's back. Mackenzie Black. So overall, yes, when I watch Mackenzie Blackwood and net versus when I watch Kemper as an Av, Blackwood is absolutely better.
He is. He's the better goalie. I think it would be a hell of a series, dude. I still think 22 gets it done, but I think it is razor thin at this point. And yeah, there's still a bunch of hockey to be played, but it's just the feeling I get. I think they're mega deep. Maybe Josh Manson was a better player then than he
Sure.
is now.
You had
Certainly
Eric
he was
Johnson
healthier.
still. But hey, EJ in the stints he's in the brief moments we've seen him so far in his return to the Avs, it's actually kind of looked like the EJ from then. And could you imagine? You had elite Landeskog, even with the shredded knee. He was elite. He was playing elite at that time. If you had third line Landeskog, that might be what would put the 25 team over the 22 team if you had Landeskog back, who I'm not expecting to be that elite Landeskog that we saw 2-3 years ago. But I'm telling you, there's just something. You're seeing it with Eric Johnson, even. You know, there's just something about it never goes away fully, and you'll always be effective to a degree when you are that type of player, and when you're playing for a team where it just means so much more to you. So if they get Gabe Landeskog back, even if he's not what he was from an emotional standpoint, but also look, I love Joel Kiviranta's 16 goals, and I believe in Ross Colton and the hot start he had to the season. But I tell you what, Landeskog on the third line would
Yeah.
would do it for me. I mean, do it for me.
Calm down over there. It's not that late. We can't be turning into that type of show.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
I agree with you, Spring, man. It would be it'd be a hell of a fight between the two clubs. Avs look great right now, man. They can't lose. They'll take on the St. Louis Blues this Saturday, 2:30 p.m. puck drop, 2 p.m. pregame show on 92.5. Spring and I have a postgame show for you around 5. I've got updated MVP odds, Spring.
Yeah, let's hear him.
So McKinnon was plus 200 at the end of our last show. He stays plus 200 today. Connor Hellebuck has moved to minus 140. The
Well,
books
okay,
are
the
shrinking.
Draisaitl injury.
The
So
books are
this,
shrinking.
and when we were looking at the odds before the Draisaitl injury, we said, like, look, it's almost as if the odds makers are saying this: the savvy pick is Hellebuck. It's almost as if they predicted either a Draisaitl injury or just some sort of weirdness. It's amazing how Vegas can do this. And lo and behold, hey, look, I think McKinnon deserves it, but Hellebuck's having a great year. We know voter fatigue is real. Whatever.
He's having a great year, but the reason why I'm saying that is because when our show closed last time, Hellebuck was in the minus 200s. He was as low as minus 250 on some books, and he has now crept closer to even money, which is telling you Vegas is starting to
Mm.
feel the Nathan McKinnon back-to-back MVP stuff.
Okay. So I misheard you there. So he was minus, and now he's McKinnon. What's McKinnon's odds right now?
McKinnon's at plus 200 right now. He was
And
as
where's
high as
Draisaitl?
Drysaitl's at like plus 450 now.
Oh, so
He's
wow. So he's out for the rest of the
they're
regular
tossing
season.
Drysaitel out of the window because
Holy
he's missing so
shit.
much time.
Okay.
Vegas thinks Nate can do it. Like that those odds, that's a 60-cent change in like 48 hours. That's a big move.
That's a huge move. Wow. And the Blues on Saturday.
Ben says, "Do
Blue
you think Dallas catches the Jets?" No, I don't.
4 points. Let me just look at Winnipeg's schedule because I know Dallas. We've looked at Dallas's schedule and it's easier. Let's look at Winnipeg's schedule here. Winnipeg, yeah, that's not the most difficult schedule either. That's going to
I
be
think
tough.
I think your central standings are exactly what they are at the end of the season right now. The points are made
Schedules are
up
setting up for
and they
that.
don't matter. The points are made up and they don't matter. Just matters how the teams are playing and whether or not you like your matchup.
Blues on Saturday. Blues won their 8th straight today.
They can't
Uh,
lose. They were down 2-0 at Nashville.
they were down 2-0. Dylan Holloway. So you need a guy, any team on the come up, you need a guy to step up and to like figure it out, a younger guy to figure it out and for it to click and to become a guy who looks like someone who could be a little bit of a star. This is a 23-year-old center who was a first round pick of the Oilers. Shoot, I'm curious how he ended up on the Blues. But Dylan Holloway scored twice in this game, and he's been very good. Look, that 8-game win streak for the St. Louis Blues, that thing better come to an end on Saturday. And it should. There are levels to this, okay? And in Colorado, a team that looks like one of the truest, if not the truest, cup contender right now, with dudes in their prime. God bless Dylan Holloway, 23 years old. Rob Thomas when he's not singing for Matchbox 20. No, okay. When you look, this is where the 8-game win streak comes to an end in Denver against this Avalanche team. This Blues team is fun. I think they're going to make the playoffs. They ain't the 2019 Blues. They ain't resurrecting again. There's no O'Reilly on this team. There's no Petrangelo on this team. That 8-game win streak comes to an end on Saturday. Book it.
Dylan Holloway was part of the 2 offer sheets that St. Louis signed Edmonton players to this past offseason. They signed Philip Broberg and Dylan Holloway to offer sheets. Edmonton declined to match those sheets. Those
Wow.
2 players ended up being like cap casualties because they couldn't fit them in. They were going to have to either find like trade partners for those guys, but the Blues end up signing them to offer sheets. So they get a 3rd round draft pick if I'm correct, yeah, they get a third round draft pick for Holloway, and then because of the money tied up in Broberg, they get a second round draft pick. So it ended up being kind of a trade, but just facilitated through RFA contract negotiations and offer sheets.
Let's see. Dylan Holloway has 26 goals this season. Miko's got
That's
30.
worth a second rounder.
Dude, that's the type of let go by the Oilers. You regret that. They will rue that.
I don't think they
When
could have kept him. I do think they were just cap casualties. I don't think it was that they didn't like the players. They couldn't fit the guys in.
Well, that's what happens when you give Draisaitl 14 million. And does he
I mean,
deserve it? Yes,
he's
but
worth every
this is
penny.
the risk. Had the Avs extended Miko even for 12. Look, when you're a top heavy team, you miss out on other players that you had in your grasp or that you could have acquired elsewhere.
Did you see any of the college hockey tonight, Spring?
I saw Cornell at the buzzer essentially upset Michigan State. Actually, I actually saw that line. I checked out the college hockey lines today. Yeah, Michigan State was a pretty solid favorite in that game.
Yeah, Michigan State was the number one overall seed, which means Cornell was the last team into the tournament as the 16 seed. Michigan State had a 1 goal lead with under 5 minutes to go in that game. Cornell ties it up. They get a power play. They score backdoor. Michigan State goes home as the number one ranked team in the tournament. The NCAA tournament today for college hockey was freaking awesome. Western Michigan and Minnesota State Mankato was a double overtime game,
Well,
back and
Western
forth.
Michigan was big favorites.
Yeah, Western Michigan found a way to get it done in double overtime. Mankato like shin patted a puck into their own net after like a wonderful third period and overtime going into that 2 OT period. It was awesome, man. I think Minnesota and UMass Lowell, or sorry, UMass
Uh,
Amherst are
yeah,
still playing right now.
McCarr's alma mater, right? That
Mc,
UMass.
yes, that one. McCarr's alma mater, and then his brother's still playing for Maine, but originally started at McCarr's older or alma mater.
Oh, it was Maine versus UMass tonight.
No, no, sorry. Okay,
Oh, okay.
what is currently being played right now is Minnesota versus UMass.
Okay,
Cale
it was
McCarr went
Minnesota.
to
That's right.
UMass,
That's right. Yep, I saw
and
that on the books.
Taylor McCarr also started at UMass, but Taylor has now transferred and is in his second and final year with the Maine Black Bears.
What was the result of that Minnesota? Because Minnesota, they're usually pretty damn good. They were not the largest of favorites against UMass.
Massachusetts storms back against Minnesota. They win 5-4 in overtime. It just went final.
Oh, the odds makers called that one because yeah, that was the line that I looked where I was like, ooh, I feel like Minnesota should be bigger favorites. And anytime I see UMass, I think of Cale McCarr. Let's see, I think Maine plays, and that's Taylor McCarr's team. Maine plays Penn State tomorrow.
That's going to be a good hockey game. I think Denver plays tomorrow as well. They have to play because they didn't play tonight.
Yep, they play Providence.
Yeah, those are great. Texas Tech comes back to beat Arkansas in the Sweet 16. Arkansas had a 10-point lead the whole game on the hardwood tonight.
Chalk in college basketball tonight. All favorites won.
Yeah, the only mega exciting game was Texas Tech and Arkansas. I didn't get to watch much of that, which is a shame because I watched the blowouts and I watched like Duke just kind of handle their business. And once Cooper Flag hit the 3 at the end of the first half, I went, nope, I know how this one's going to end. Everything else was awesome. Opening day in Major League Baseball, the Rockies play tomorrow. It's a great like 4-day set of sports.
I'm just looking forward to seeing the Rockies play in a minor league ballpark tomorrow against the Tampa Bay Rays. No, not even minor league. I think they're playing at a spring training facility. I think the Tampa Bay Rays are playing at the New York Yankees spring training facility this season.
The whole year they will call the friendly confines of George Steinbrenner Field their home stadium. Aren't
Gotta
there
get Larry.
there's two teams playing in spring training facilities this year?
No, the A's, the Athletics are playing in the Sacramento minor league baseball stadium.
Oh, okay. Well, it may as well be a spring training
Sure,
facility.
sure.
Oh man. All right, Spring. I'm
There we
getting
go. We've
to the end
devolved
of it.
to baseball talk.
We're talking
So
about the Oakland Athletics, which probably tells you the hockey show is fucking over.
yeah, the Avs were awesome tonight. I'll just say it again. This game was wow, 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 wow. That's how the Avs looked tonight. It was that good.
That's Mark Springer. I'm Alex Ryan. I mean, thank you guys so much for staying up late with us. Enjoy your Friday. Get outside before the weather turns, and we will talk to you on Saturday afternoon after the Avs take on the St. Louis Blues. Avs win. They're very good. Ask your significant other which Avs team would win, this one or the one back in 2022. Have a fight.